Welcome back to MariTIME Machines. And I got to say, if Doc were to build a time machine in this century, he might not go for a DeLorean. He might pick something else, something that's a little more accessible. And we love to talk to people about their machines, their cars, their vehicles, their transport, their conveyance. And this is something a little special, something that is maybe even a little unidentified right now. We're going to learn a little bit more about this with Robbie. When I take a look at this, I say, I have no idea what this is. Robbie, tell me about this car. Where did this idea come from?
The idea, I mean, I just seen a picture on Instagram. Somebody in the U.S. did something similar, and I like the look of it.
So what is it?
It's originally a 2010 Honda Civic,
okay.
two-door, and it still is registered as a modified 2010 Honda Civic.
Okay, we're going to have to talk about that because I do see it has an inspection sticker, it's got a license plate, it has windshield wipers and mirrors. This is, as it says, street legal.
Yes, 100% street legal. Yep.
There's got to be a story about how that happened, but I want to go back in time a little bit. And you said you saw one like this on Instagram, and you said, I want one. Why?
To be different. You know what I mean? I've never seen one around here, and you know, I'm a car guy. I work on cars every day. I just wanted something, you know, when you go somewhere, it sticks out different, and I can be parked next to a $200,000 Ferrari, and people will migrate around this and take a look at it. You know what I mean? Because it's so different. The design was literally. I built a bar and stuck it there, and it didn't look good. I moved it to another spot. Like, it wasn't designed any which way until it looked good, and I cut some off and added some new ones, and it ended up this way. Kind
of reminds me of like a dune buggy in some ways.
Yep.
And was that the aesthetic you were going for, or was it just, it's going to be what it is when it's done?
Yeah, that's literally, it was just going to be what it is. I had no idea what I was doing. Every day was, you know, I'd start at the front, and I'd add something, and I'd get frustrated. I'd move to the back, and I'd add something. And I had no idea what I was doing.
And when this car became available for this project, I mean, you're in the car business, so was it just a car you happened to have?
I looked on Kijiji, and I found the cheapest car to buy.
Okay.
And that's what I bought.
So it's got for an engine, factory engine?
Factory stock motor, yeah. Suspension, the floor, the windshield. Is all stock.
Right.
Yeah, I just removed the body.
There's some extra pieces in there that makes a little whistle.
Yeah, a few extra things that make it go a little faster.
So the turbo, is that something you've installed in other vehicles that you've owned?
No, that was the first time I put a turbo on anything. I actually didn't do it, a friend of mine did it.
Okay.
Because I'm not a mechanic, I'm more of a body guy, you know what I mean? So I can do the body, and so I asked for a little bit of help.
So you mentioned this was the engine that was in the vehicle when you purchased it. So, well, like 300,000 K?
300, yeah, I think there was 310 on it, yeah.
And you put the turbo on, is it working the way you expected?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It's night and day compared to no turbo and a turbo. Like,
right.
It was night and day, yeah.
Now, I'm looking at some of the stickers here in Garage 16. I'm just curious, you know, the idea that you're going to dress it and put logos and make it special. Some lipstick,
yeah,
a little bit, a few extras.
The stickers were all like part of, you know, I bought something that came with a sticker, and then I just might as well stick it on there, and it just ended up keep going, and every time I find a sticker, I put it on there now. So I've never drove a Jeep with no doors, but I feel like it's the same sort of experience, you know, Jeep, doors on, doors off.
With the roof off and the wind blowing through your hair if you have it.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about messing my hair up, and I'm really kind of looking forward to getting a ride in this. How do you describe the way it handles, the way it drives?
It's hard to describe, you know, it's honestly, it's a big go-kart on the street, you know what I mean? You feel really close to the ground because it's moving right there. You know, it's a totally different experience. You'll like it.
Handles to hold on to.
Yeah.
You're right, it is kind of like a Jeep in a lot of ways. You are right out in the middle of the road, aren't you? I'll have to talk about the miles per gallon.
Yeah.
Or the miles per miles.
Totally different, that's for sure.
Now, you had mentioned you're in the car business. This is your hobby is this, your job is working on vehicles. And those two kind of intersect here. Obviously, there's some advertising and an aspect of this. You know, people will see it, and it's the business that you're involved with. And I'm wondering that feeling, though, when it's work, when cars start to become work.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why I built something fun, because I was always a car guy growing up, and you know, working on cars every day, you kind of start to hate what you do. So when I seen that online, I said, I'm gonna do something for myself, and I did it all myself, like nights and weekends, just having fun, just, you know, when I had a minute or an hour, I'd get out and I'd come and I would just start bending pipe and welding, and it was fun. You know, I enjoyed building it, and that's why I like it so much.
Now, did you build it here, or did you build it somewhere else?
I built it here, yeah.
In the shop?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's birthplaces.
Yeah, right here where it's sitting, yeah.
And how long did it take to make?
Honestly, it didn't take that long. You know, the 2 months of nights and weekends here and there, you know, not a lot of time.
When did you start working on cars for a living? When did that start for you?
Right out of high school.
Yep.
You know, even before that, I would play in the garage, but tinker with this, or learn how to change tires. Always doing something in the garage, right when I was 16. And then right out of high school, my first job was working in a body shop.
So were your buddies, were they all car people too? Or?
They were all car people, like they liked cars. None of them did it for work, but they all, you know, drove cars and hung out in parking lots. Everybody looked at it for his car.
Well, I grew up in the 70s, and for car culture, I mean, I was chasing all those guys who had the muscle cars. And for a while, a lot of people weren't really keen on that tuner scene and the whole Fast and Furious thing. But I looked at it different. It was building passion. People cared, again, about cars. For a while, they didn't, because the cars really weren't worth caring about.
Right. Fast and Furious made a big change in the car world. And people like that tuner stuff after that. I mean, I've always been into that.
You said you had it in Moncton recently? You drove it to Moncton?
Yeah, I drove it to Moncton. You know, I was not worried about the car making it. I was worried about the weather. You know, I don't have a roof or a door to roll up if it starts raining. That's what I was worried about that. But I kept checking the weather, and there was a car show on the weekend, so I said, let's do it. And I went, and no issues.
Did you enter the car show?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I put it in a couple car shows this year. And did well. I got a couple trophies.
What category? How could you even choose and narrow that down?
Yeah, I think, you know, I think I got like it was like the Judge's Choice Award or things like that, you know what I mean?
They usually don't have a modified class at classic car shows.
I wish they did, like the most modified, or, you know, because I'm a fan of different. You know what I mean? I like, you know, if you can make your car different or you build it yourself, and that's what I like, you know.
And you've touched on something else that's happening in the classic car world, which is antique designation, right?
Yeah.
Now, this isn't old enough to be an antique, but it certainly has to be classified as something other than a regular street vehicle.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, what kind of empathy are you hearing from those fellows and those people who say, well, you know, what was built in the early 20s or 30s might not be even nearly as safe as something like this?
That's right. I mean, I got an older truck, a 46 truck. And, you know, it doesn't need a safety inspection, and it didn't come with seat belts back then, and, you know, so, you know, honestly, I mean, and I think, you know, this structure of this is structurally stronger than if you had the factory door on it. If somebody ran into it, I think that side beam is stronger than that factory door. You know, I honestly feel like it's safer. You know, there's obviously different, like a motorcycle, you could stick your hand out and things could happen, but structurally it's strong.
People pretty much know where the car's from?
Yeah, you know, I drive it quite a bit right around here, like short drives. There's what it started as.
One of these is now one of those.
Yeah. Oh, you missed it.
Oh, he did.
They were taking video the whole time down by.
That's funny.
You say everything's stock brakes,
Stock brakes.
and now there are hood pins here.
Yeah, so
do you roll with a hood?
I do have a hood for it. When I go to car shows or things like that, I usually take it off, and it's a modified hood. It's basically just a few pieces of metal that it doesn't cover much more than what it is right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
sort of bikini top.
Yeah,
A little
exactly.
bit,
Yeah.
a little bit. And it certainly has, some interesting lines, I'll put it that way, because
Yeah.
it's not, this is what was underneath, and then you added a bit more
Yeah.
up on top as far as roll bars.
Welding this pipe was a lot easier than welding a normal car today because it's so much thicker and stronger metal. It's a lot easier to weld than a car.
Now, is that designed on what would be in a race car, that type of?
Yeah, same sort of roll cage. Yeah.
Okay, so did it have to be certified in any way?
Yeah, had to be certified by a automotive engineer. He checked it all over, every weld, every angle, the height off the ground, all kinds of different things.
Is this the way they look with the holes in the frame underneath?
Yeah, that's a factory rocker panel and
Right.
pillar, and I just removed the skin on the outside of it.
And
Yeah.
all that's of the original is, you say, the floor, the fuel tank?
The gas tank, the floor, this pillar, the A pillar all the way up, the windshield, the wipers.
That's all still factory?
That's all still factory, yeah. I like it because the motorcycle guys like it.
Yeah.
Cross between, you know what I mean? Like, still out in the open like a motorcycle.
Drive by all these car lots and not see another one just like it. That's right.
Taking a look at the interior, it looks fairly stock. I mean, the dash is stock, but
Yep.
you had to add a little bit of style here. But again, that's because of the harness?
I added the seats and the harness, but the harness is just for looks because they're not street legal. That's why it has the lap belts under there, but I just put them in to make it look more like a race car.
Well, it does look like a race car. And
Yeah.
obviously, the console and the 5-speed, did you make any changes here? Or
No,
is that
that's all stock.
Right.
I put a stereo, a deck face in there, and I replaced the steering wheel because I could remove the airbag, so it was easy to put an aftermarket steering wheel in there.
Was the airbag removed for a specific reason?
Yeah, the seatbelt. The seatbelt and the airbag, because they don't work together.
Right.
So at first I just disconnected them. And then I thought, well, I at least now I can put an aftermarket steering wheel that makes it look cooler. So I did that.
You said the headlights are actually from Harley Davidson.
Headlights, yeah, I got them on Amazon. Just picked a random headlight, and the Harley headlight looked good. The round circle fit in there nice.
Oh, and it has
The blinkers built in.
Okay.
Yeah.
That kind of gave you that option.
Yeah, it was
kind of two solid.
still, yeah.
You say you had to get the key reprogrammed?
Yeah, because I changed the ECU, the computer.
Oh, okay, right.
So you have the keys programmed to that. So once I put the new one in, it was just had to get. It's like a mobile company that comes in and programs the key to the ECU. Didn't take long. But little things that you don't pay attention, you don't think about. Got the ECU in. I'm like, oh yeah, now I got to get that.
And then you put the key in and nothing happens.
Yeah.
Right. It might be a bit of a comfortable ride to Moncton. I don't know like you say, if you're worried about the weather.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I mean, the seats are comfy, the car drives nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you never know what the Nova Scotia weather's like. And
I tell you, if you ride a motorcycle, it's the same old, same old.
yeah,
Because you either have to stop and get off, put on your rain gear, or you just
pay attention where I could hide under a bridge if I had to.
The process of getting it street legal.
That took forever.
Okay, when you say forever, how do you even start? I mean, you decide you're going to take a car that's licensed and registered for the road and then hack it into pieces and then put it back on the road.
Right, so I started, before I even started, I seen that picture and I sent it to the automotive engineer and said, hey, is this possible to have on the street in Nova Scotia? And he said it is. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a lot of hurdles and jumps. And I said, okay, well, I'll start the car. If you think it's possible, then I'll start it. And I started the car and I got it, half done or 3/4 done, safety-wise. And then I sent him a bunch of pictures and he said, yeah, we've got to add this and remove that and change a few things. And we got it close and then we started the paperwork to have it, his certification done, and then also the DOT had to come look at it, and nobody wanted to sign off on it. You know what I mean?
That's interesting to me.
Thing.
That's interesting to me that no one wanted to say, I think based on the engineer's recommendation it's safe, but I don't want my name on that.
That's
How did
right.
you find someone? Or did they just finally someone just...
I think they caved, you know what I mean? I honestly, I don't really know. I mean, they went over a lot. They spent hours taking pictures and just looking at this, and they did find a couple mistakes where my weld wasn't perfect, and I had to re-weld this and fix that, but I mean, it was probably a year of. I would call every couple days. Hey, what can I do next? What can I do? You know what I mean? Like, it was a lot of work, honestly.
And that engineer you say is in New Brunswick, but did that person ever physically come and put hands on this?
Yeah, he had to check it all out and look at it, yeah. Which he was very knowledgeable, you know what I mean? Like, he knew just by, the height of this and the height of that had to be off the ground, and we had it a lot. Like, we had it ready for the DOT, you know what I mean, for those guys to look.
As out there as this looks, as wild as it looks, you've never been pulled over? You've never gone through a road check? You've never had any interaction with police officers?
No, not at all. I've been waiting for it. I got all the paperwork to say.
In a good way.
Yeah, in a good way, yeah. Because, I drive very sensible because everybody looks at you.
Well, you can't not be noticed.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you're doing, everybody's looking at you. And every cop looks at me and stares at me, but I haven't been pulled over. And I got this book of paperwork in the glove box waiting to say, hey, I don't know. I'm sure they don't want to read it all either. You know what I mean?
The looks, I'm sure you get lots of people who want to tell you their thoughts about this vehicle because it is so unique looking.
I mean, Tim Hortons drive-through, I got people getting out of their car and coming up and asking about it. What is it, of course, and how is it street legal, and all these. People ask a lot of questions, which is nice.
If you like interacting with people, I mean, some folks, you see some guys who ride their bike to the coffee shop and sit there for hours and talk. Other people, they just want to ride.
Yeah.
So
no, if I don't want to be interacted, I got you driving my truck, my everyday truck. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't matter where you go, people are talking to you with this thing. My kids love it. I got a 9-year-old that's allowed to ride in the front seat now, and so we do short drives with her, and she says she feels like a famous person because everybody's taking pictures of her or looking at her. She loves it,
Awesome. Now, the only real way you'd know this was a Honda would be from the badge on the engine.
That's the only Honda symbol left, yeah.
And was that conscientious? Was that a conscious decision, or is it just how it ended up?
It really how it ended up, you know what I mean? I like to keep people guessing at the same time, but no, it's really just how it ended up.
So you grew up around here?
Yeah, in Lower Sackville.
Friday nights were you spending it working on cars, driving cars?
Yeah, I mean, it was working on them when they were broken and hanging out in the parking lot, showing them off, or talking to other car people. 16 to 20 was all I could.
Right.
So this was a Honda Civic. It's now, I don't know what you call it. I don't know if you have a name for
My
it.
kids call it the monkey bar car because they climb all over it like monkeys.
Okay.
And but no, I mean in the U.S. they call them an exo car because there's like an exoskeleton or something. So honestly, I mean I still call it my Honda. So.
So where did this passion for vehicles come from? Where did Robbie first go, I like cars? Was there someone in your life that...
My dad was a mechanic.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So he was in the car world. I didn't want to do the same thing he did, but I wanted to be involved in cars, and that's why I took the auto body trade.
So he was a wrencher?
Yeah, and so he can do the wrenching, and I can fix the outside, and we built a few cars together, actually. It was fun.
So has he weighed in on this one yet?
Yeah, oh yeah, no, he's helped me with a lot of little things, you know, because there wasn't a lot of mechanical to do to this one, you know what I mean? He replaced the brakes and a few things, but there wasn't a lot. We didn't do much mechanical. It was more just the looks.
You want to drive it?
Yeah. Looking for a mirror, it's not there.
It's up there a little bit.
Yeah.
This one is purely cosmetic looks.
So you haven't let anyone else drive this yet?
Yeah, I've let a few people drive it. Yeah, yeah. I just usually let them, and I didn't get in.
And you didn't get in, okay.
I'm not a fan of being a passenger. I don't mind people driving it.
Don't have to double clutch it.
Well,
Tight little throw. See, I get used to driving a Volkswagen.
oh yeah. No, it's short. Gears are close together.
I suspect with the turbo, now that you've paired off probably a third of the weight, if not more.
Yeah.
Even, you know, offset.
I would like to weigh it. I've never weighed it, but no, it definitely weighs a lot less. Like me and you could pick the back of it up. Like it's not that heavy.
Oh yeah, you can pick it up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to carry it far.
No. It's the gas tank's right there, so that's the heavy part.
Well, I would say for your first custom creation, you did a damn fine job, Rob.
Thank you very much.